Hey, We Are Change, how's it going? This is Corey from the DSM chapter of We Are Change, Des Moines, the capital city chapter here in Iowa. And as you can tell by my second set of media, we're going to be discussing money. Everyone's favorite thing to get away and give away, and don't give me that good bull. Pink Floyd said it, people, not me. So yeah, tonight I want to talk a little bit about, for my 15 minutes of fame here, the dreads are looking nappy and nasty tonight. I want to talk about the money, the fiat currency that we currently use, the fact that we've recently hit the debt ceiling. There's a lot going on. People were in an insane amount of, I can't go through and count them, but it's going to take too much time. And we got Libya, we're bombing Yemen, we're bombing Pakistan. Libya's past 90 days. That's another illegal war on top of the other ones in Iraq and Afghanistan. We're at 5 easy right there. We're supporting Israel and shooting civilian protesters in Syria. So scary things going on in the world today. Also, China's backing Pakistan, saying, if you don't leave them alone and stop sending robots over there to drop bombs on them, it's going to be an act of war on China. So China's not happy with us, or we're just not paying them. We'll get into that here in a minute. So, scores of illegal wars. We're opening our doors to pay back the debt that we can't pay to China. They're buying our T-bills. Now our dollar's worth nothing. So what are we going to give them? Land. We're giving them land. Well, at least we'll be able to, build up our economy by making cheap crap for the Chinese people. Okay, so how do we get here? How did we hit the debt ceiling? What is the debt ceiling? Why do we have a debt ceiling? Can't we just make more money and spend more money? I mean, that's what we've been doing, right? So, let's examine the big issue. Number one, the Federal Reserve is a private bank. You can look it up on its own website. It's a private bank, no matter what it says. I know they would have you believe it's not for profit. It is. The Federal Reserve was enacted or created or came into fruition in 1913 under President Woodrow Wilson, who signed the Federal Reserve Act of that year. We did not have a central bank in this country until then. They tried. They failed. We had different means of doing things, but in essence, the Constitution grants the power to create currency and or means of payment. I'm not going to go into, I don't know verbatim, I'm not I'm the guy that just dumbs it down for the common folks. So, the Federal Reserve is a private bank. They were given the power given to Congress by us, the people. So basically, Congress said, we don't want to be responsible for the money. Give it to them. The Federal Reserve Bank then takes the initiative of printing the money and setting interest rates and things like that. They do quite a bit. You got to read the act. I'm not going to spell this all out for you. Get you interested. Go figure it out for yourself. Don't believe me. Question everything. This gets me frustrated and going, I'm sorry, people. So, the Federal Reserve private bank now has the power, as of 1913, to print and distribute money. Not a big deal, right? Who cares if it's a private bank? It's not for profit. But they sell the currency, aka the Federal Reserve notes. We can get one out and show you it. It doesn't say US dollars. It's property of the United States. It says it's a Federal Reserve note. and it's the value is $1. Um, since we became a fiat currency and we're no longer backed by gold and silver, we have recently entered an era of just insane decline here, just in general in our country. Um, we allowed our government to wheel and deal, to allow corporations to move offshore, eliminating our productivity-based economy. So we don't produce anything to make money. So we must provide a service. So then now our services are being shipped overseas as well. Um, I know this firsthand because I'm on the phone all day with people who are consistently complaining about talking to people in India and China and things like that. Doesn't bother me. I don't care where you're at. Just talking to you. But I hear it all the time. Everybody needs a job. Everybody needs work. I'm all for people having jobs and working in any country in the world, but I'm also for being fair. The free market is about free market, not about setting it up so that it's easier for your friends and buddies to make a quick buck by exporting jobs. That's the only thing we've been exporting other than our oil. We don't keep our oil, people. We buy it from OPEC. So look into that too. But with the final 10 minutes here, I really want to delve into the Federal Reserve issue and some looming things overhead that I see happening as a response to people waking up, as a response to the devaluation of the dollar, and where we're headed. The Federal Reserve sells the currency to the United States government, as well as private banks across the country. The Wells Fargo, Citibank, Bank of America, Chase, all these banks purchase or are loaned the paper or now electronic fiat currency. This is loaned out at 2% interest. So for a not-for-profit private bank, the Federal Reserve is doing fairly well. They make quite a bit of money. They're consistently collecting interest on every dollar that's in rotation, and for the government to pay that interest off, pardon me, they have constructed income tax. That wasn't until 1933, I believe, and I'm not the most accurate on dates sometimes. But you can look it up for yourself. We didn't always have income tax, and that's actually unconstitutional. There's quite a bit of stir going on right now about people who don't pay their income taxes. I think you should look it up, and I think we should all stop trying to pay our federal income tax. Your state does benefit your state, and you should support your states. It's important for our sovereignty and to remain what our nation was meant to be. But the Federal Reserve collects your money and your income tax via the federal government to pay off the 2% interest on every dollar that's in rotation. After that, the other money that's sold to the banks, they pass along at a higher interest rate those funds, making profit for themselves and also giving them the ability to pay off the interest on the fiat currency that they currently hold. So, now, this money is out here and we're spending it and we're using it, and the Federal Reserve is constantly getting paid for it. So banks are making loans to people for cars, credit cards, home loans, which brings us to the big issue we've got now with the housing bubble crash, property values and things like that. What they did is they gave people loans with information that they didn't validate. Once that was done, they then sold those loans on to different financial entities who just specialize in buying loans. That's pretty much all they do, I believe. Again, I'm not a financier. I'm not a financial guru. I'm not an economicist. I'm not an economicist. That's not the right word. I don't care. I'm not a smart guy. I'm just a man of the people. I'm not an economicist. We're just running off now. So, The Economist I'm not an economist, but the economist will tell you that they sold these loans to a different company who then collected the funds for those. They were paid back for those loans, so they got their money back. They then placed bets for or against those loans. Whether they bet or for matters a bit. It's all bad business. You shouldn't sell something and then bet against or for people's hopes and dreams. Don't bet on people's hopes and dreams of owning a home and having a life in this country. That's the wrong way to go about it. So they placed these bets against these loans. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, a lot of banks lost money on these bets because I don't, again, you talk to them and they say it's so confusing they don't understand. So getting us to understand isn't going to happen. But they sold these loans, placed bets on the loans, and then when they lost the money, we paid the tax dollars, which is private fiat currency from the Federal Reserve that they're collecting interest on, to these banks. We gave them back their money so that they could pay back their money that we're paying interest on still. We've created an insurmountable debt that's consistently in rotation that can never be quelled because every dollar that is spent to pay the debt incurs more debt. There's no way to get out of it unless you audit and end the Fed. So that's what I'm trying to push here in Des Moines. That's our big thing. You can tell that the government's currently getting worried about this because of the new, I believe it's Dodd-Frank Act that was just enacted via Congress, making the over-counter sale of silver and gold illegal as of July 15th, 2011. Next step, they will be confiscating people's gold and silver and pushing us completely into paper and electronic money, a total fiat system. So, rise up, audit and end the Fed. We are change. Tune in, turn on, take over. Have a good one.